Hey there, fellow dog lovers. Did you know that one of the most common ways we show affection to our dogs, petting them on the head, might actually be stressing them out? It's something we do naturally, right? After all, it's easy to assume that head pats are a sign of love, especially since we associate them with affection in our human relationships. But here's the surprising truth. Petting your dog's head may not be as comforting for them as you think. In fact, it could be making them uncomfortable or even anxious. So, in today's video, we're diving into why you should rethink that head pat, the subtle signs your dog is giving you when they're not enjoying it, and how you can show love in a way that actually makes them feel safe and happy. If you love dogs and want to learn more about how to make your pup's life even better, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video. Stick around. This might just change the way you interact with your furry friend. When most of us think about petting our dogs, our hands naturally reach for their heads. It's almost instinctive. But why is that? Well, part of the reason is the size difference between humans and dogs. We're much larger than they are, and the head happens to be the most accessible part of their body. It's easy for us to reach, especially since dogs are usually much smaller than us. For a person towering over a dog, the head is the place that's most in our line of sight and most within our reach. It just feels like the natural place to give a pat or scratch, right? But there's more to it than simple convenience. Another reason we instinctively reach for the head is due to anthropomorphism, that is, the tendency to attribute human characteristics to animals. We humans often project our own emotions and behaviors onto our pets. In our relationships, we show affection by patting someone's head, touching their face, or even tousling their hair. These gestures are deeply ingrained in human interactions as signs of affection, tenderness, and connection. So, it makes sense that we would naturally think that a head pat on a dog has the same meaning. It's a way of showing love, right? On top of that, there are strong cultural associations with head pats in human interactions. For instance, parents often pat their children's heads as a form of praise, reassurance, or love. In romantic relationships, couples might gently touch each other's faces or heads, a gesture that signifies intimacy and care. It's not just about the physical touch, it's the emotional connection that we associate with these acts. As a result, we might subconsciously transfer this idea to our pets, thinking that patting them on the head will convey the same warmth and affection. After all, if head pats are universally seen as a sign of care in human relationships, why wouldn't our dogs feel the same way? But here's where things get tricky. While we humans associate head pats with affection, dogs don't necessarily interpret them the same way. What feels comforting and loving to us can sometimes come off as intimidating or uncomfortable to them. Our dogs, small and cute though they may be, see us as towering, sometimes overwhelming creatures. For them, a human reaching over their head can feel like an invasion of their personal space, like someone looming over them. And that's where things start to differ. While we might see it as an innocent display of affection, from a dog's perspective, that gesture could trigger feelings of stress, discomfort, or even anxiety. So, while we're petting them with the best of intentions, it's important to step back and consider how our dogs perceive these actions. After all, they're not little humans. They're animals with different instincts and ways of communicating. And sometimes, that head pat that feels so natural to us might actually cause them more harm than good. From a dog's perspective, being approached for a head pat can be an entirely different experience than it is for us. Humans are intimidating creatures, especially from a dog's point of view. We're significantly larger, and our towering size can make us feel like a potential threat to them. Imagine a giant suddenly looming over you. That's how a dog might perceive our actions when we reach out to pat their head. When we move in to pet a dog, we're often doing so from above. This overhead pat, while entirely natural to us, can be perceived as an invasion of their personal space. In the wild, a looming presence over a dog's head could signal a predator or an unfamiliar threat, which naturally makes them uneasy. Dogs generally feel safer when their interactions with us are more level or from the side, where they don't feel cornered or overwhelmed by our height. So, even though we may see head patting as a simple, affectionate gesture, to a dog it can feel much more uncomfortable, like someone standing too close, invading their personal space, or even threatening them without meaning to. That's why it's important to consider how our dogs might interpret these actions, especially since they often can't vocalize discomfort the way humans can. Now, it's important to know how to tell if your dog is feeling uncomfortable when you try to pet them. Thankfully, dogs are quite expressive and communicate their discomfort in subtle but clear ways. Here are a few signs to watch out for. Avoiding the touch. One of the most obvious signs that your dog is not enjoying the head petting is when they actively try to move away or duck when you approach. If a dog turns their head, steps back, or even moves away entirely, this is a clear signal that they don't want to be touched there. This is their way of setting a boundary, and it's crucial that you respect it. Pin back ears. Dogs communicate a lot with their ears. If you see your dog's ears suddenly pin back, this is a strong indicator of discomfort or irritation. Dogs pin their ears back when they're feeling stressed, annoyed, or scared. So, if your dog's ears go flat against their head when you try to pet them, it's a sign they're not happy with the interaction. Displacement behaviors. Sometimes, dogs will suppress the urge to move away or growl because they don't want to seem confrontational. Instead, they redirect their energy into what's called displacement behaviors. This could include actions like excessive lip licking, yawning, or looking away. These behaviors are subtle signs that your dog is feeling stressed, but they're trying to cope with the situation without making it more uncomfortable. Whale eye. Another red flag is the whale eye, when a dog shows the whites of their eyes, often by rolling their eyes back or sideways. While it may look cute at first, whale eye is actually a sign of stress or anxiety. It indicates that the dog is feeling uneasy or threatened. So, if your dog is giving you the whale eye, it's best to back off and give them some space. Despite its adorable appearance, whale eye is a warning sign that your dog may be uncomfortable and in need of a break. By learning to read these signs, you can ensure that your interactions with your dog are always positive and stress-free, fostering a stronger bond based on mutual respect. Now that we understand why head petting can make dogs uncomfortable, let's explore how to pet them in a way that makes them feel safe and loved. Approach from the side. Instead of coming straight at them, approach your dog from the side. This feels less threatening to them and gives them a chance to assess the situation without feeling cornered. Start at the shoulders. Begin petting at their shoulders. This is less intrusive and allows you to gauge their comfort level. If they relax, keep going. If they stiffen or move away, stop. Pet down the spine. Many dogs love being petted along their spine, especially towards the base of the tail. This is a safe and enjoyable spot for them. Behind the ears with bonded dogs. If you have a close bond with your dog, they may enjoy being scratched behind the ears. This area has a lot of nerve endings and can be soothing for them. When meeting a new dog, it's essential to be respectful. Ask permission. Always ask the dog's owner if it's okay to pet their dog. Let the dog approach you. Hold your hand out for the dog to sniff. If they move away, don't force the interaction. If they come closer, you can pet them gently on the shoulders, avoiding the head. Some parts of your dog's body are more sensitive than others. Tail. The tail is highly sensitive and should be avoided. Most dogs don't like having their tail touched. Paws. Dogs' paws are packed with nerves and vital for balance. Avoid touching them unless you've built trust. Avoid hugging or face touching. Many dogs don't like being restrained. Hugs or holding their face can make them feel trapped. Short petting sessions. Petting in short bursts gives your dog the chance to move away if they want. By respecting these boundaries, you'll create a more positive experience for both you and your dog. So, next time you're reaching out to pet your dog, remember that it's not just about showing affection. It's about understanding their needs and respecting their personal space. By paying attention to their body language, choosing the right spots to pet, and always respecting their boundaries, you'll not only avoid making them uncomfortable, but also build a stronger, more trusting relationship. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss out on more tips and insights into caring for your furry friend. Let us know in the comments how you've adjusted your petting routine based on your dog's preferences. Thanks for watching, and remember, every dog is different, so always be mindful and kind.